Hello all and welcome, and I am the MGTOW philosopher, and in this video I would like to talk about the tax gap. That's right, the tax gap, something you never hear about from feminists who are supposedly all about equality, but only when it suits their purposes. And of course, unlike the wage gap, the tax gap is not a myth. And by the end of this video, you will see that not only do women not pay taxes, but they take far more out of the system than they put in. Anyhow, let's get to this article, shall we? Taxpayers can do it. Oh, please. First of all, that should be a picture of a man and should say male taxpayers can do it because we're the only ones that pay taxes. Legions of feminists will ferociously type smash the patriarchy. Yeah, I'm sure we live in a patriarchy where men are still paying taxes. All the taxes. Women are paying no taxes, even though women are more than half the workforce. Isn't that interesting? I mean, there was a justification for us paying all the taxes, say, 100 years ago, because most jobs, almost all jobs, were done by men. Very few women were working in the public sector, so of course men paid the taxes. But now women are half or more of the workforce, and we're still paying all the taxes, and women are paying none, and in fact, they're taking more than they're putting in. There's no justification for that. But we're still living in a patriarchy, right? At their internet rallies calling out for the end of male supremacy in all spheres of life. Yeah, male supremacy. Yeah, if we were in charge, we wouldn't be paying so much in taxes, for God's sake. And by the way, if we were in charge so much in charge 100 years ago that we had a patriarchy 100 years ago, why were we the ones doing all the friggin' jobs? Having to raise all the money to take care of that woman sitting at home on her ass as a glorified babysitter. Huh? Somebody tell me that. Can somebody tell me that? They're the ones out dying and grinding their joints down into meal, working all day, killing themselves, stressing themselves out, dying at 35 years old from liver failure, black lung, liver failure because they're having to drink all fucking day to mute the pain in their bodies and having to listen to that shrew at him. And then, of course, the black lung will do it. You know, he's swinging a pickaxe all day in a mine. Ho, ho, ho. And we're the ones doing all the hard work and everything, but we're somehow living in a patriarchy. Yeah. Gee, I wonder how that goes. Yet few of them acknowledge the fact that one of these spheres, the government, the institution granting them rights, is entirely supported by male taxpayers. Oh, if they're not going to focus on that and their entitlement and how they still benefit from men's money. Economically, women cost more to the state than they benefit. Yeah, we all know that. Put another way, the government or men are literally paying women to be alive. That's right. They are the easy bake ovens. We pay for them so they can easy bake our kids. That's why they exist. But of course, we're not supposed to objectify them. Oh, no. Strong, independent women are only that way because the state is transferring money from men to them. Precisely. But it's done under the table. It's hidden where nobody can see it. And nobody talks about it. And that's why women don't talk about the tax gap issue, because they don't want anybody to know about it. Most people don't know because most people are fucking morons. Feminists are not seriously against being dependent on men. They're just against having men having the full control over their money. Right. When a woman's money is her money, it's her money. When a man's money is his money, it's her money. It's still her money. If it's his, it's hers. But if it's hers, it ain't his. But we already all know about that, don't we? So anyway, let's get right to the numbers, shall we? The real gender gap, the tax gap. Yes. Wow, the 77 cents for a dollar wage gap has been under the spotlight. By the way, there's no wage gap, okay? It's an earnings gap because women tend to work more part-time, more flex time. They tend to take off work to go see their daughters' dance recitals. They tend to want to work a more balanced life. They tend to take jobs that don't pay as much, you know, nursing and school teacher and, you know, psychology, sociology. I'm going to be a social worker. Yeah, these jobs don't pay a lot of money, okay? So for those reasons and many, many others, and oftentimes women want a more balanced life, while men are very goal-oriented, very ambitious. They have more stamina, okay? And they are traditionally the breadwinner and still expected to be so. So, you know, For these and many other reasons, men earn more. They earn more. There's no difference in wages. Wages would be you're paying two people differently for the same job, which is illegal, and that doesn't happen in America, okay? But of course, I suppose if you're solipsistically trying to figure the problem out, in your own mind, you can just come to some conclusion that has no basis in fact, okay? You have no good faith basis to come to this conclusion, but, I'm just going to conclude that it's some kind of sexism that's stopping me from making more money. Has nothing to do with the fact that I took a job in socialism. Sociology. Little Freudian slip there, yeah. Although sociology is socialism, it was created by the Frankfurt School to push socialist political groupthink bullshit. Anyway, the 200 cents for a dollar tax gap has, to my knowledge, never been mentioned. Of course not. By former President Barack Obama or Justin Trudeau. Jesus Christ, I don't get it. I got to go off on a tangent here for just a second. How does this pretty boy Chad motherfucker become president of fucking Canada? Oh, well, there's the reason. Because he's a pretty boy Chad motherfucker who has the correct ideology, the correct groupthink, collectivist ideology. He has the correct political and ideological beliefs. And it's very funny to me. People on the left complain about Trump. Oh, he's not qualified. He's not qualified. It's called the executive branch for a reason, you idiots. It's the business branch of the government. Oh, I mean, Jesus Christ. Trump has run a successful real estate business his entire life. The man is a multi-billionaire. And despite what people say on the left, he got all his money from his daddy. He got $200 million. No, that's a lie. The father left his entire family $200 million, and it got split up between all of Trump's brothers, sisters, their children, his children. He got very little money, and he's turned it into billions and billions of dollars. The man has something like $150, $160 million in gold bullion alone, sitting in a vault in his basement or something like that, in the Trump Tower. This guy is a rich mofo, okay? He's a successful businessman. What the hell did Justin Trudeau do? He was a fucking ski instructor. Are you kidding me? He's slaloming. Is that the term, slaloms down the fucking snow, the fucking snowy mountainside on little sticks of wood that he waxes up? How much expertise does this fucking take? This guy's sitting at home on his fucking parents' couch with a long piece of wood, and he's waxing it with a big fucking block of wax. He's sitting there for 20 minutes waxing a piece of fucking wood. Are you kidding me? What kind of skill does this take? You know, he's bedding cougars and fucking sleeping his way where? Doing what? He's listlessly living his life. He's a waste of human flesh. And he's president of Canada. Why isn't the left complaining about the fact that this guy is totally unqualified? I mean, Jesus Christ, if Trump, a 70-year-old guy who has run successful businesses and made tons of money for, almost 50 years, isn't qualified, what the hell is Justin Trudeau doing in there? With his greasy hair and his bullshit car salesman smile, this former ski instructor. Are you kidding me? What the hell's going on? Anyway, back on topic. A quick glimpse at the data reveals massive differences in taxes paid by men and women. You got that right. In fact, good Lord, this is crazy. I mean, just looking at this, it's unbelievable. So, of course, from 0 to 4, kids ain't working at that time. They can't pay taxes. I mean, I guess they could start a lemonade stand. Oh, well, that's illegal now, too. You have to get a freaking permit and some shit and take a course and, get fucking registered in some bullshit to run a lemonade stand in America. Oh, my God. The West is fucking screwed. And, of course, from 5 to 9, these kids ain't working. At least they're getting money from mommy and daddy. Maybe they cut the lawn. Well, no 5 to 9-year-old is handling a lawnmower. Anyway, from 10 to 14, nothing. But then we have 15 to 19, and of course, they're even Steven, right? Sure, right. These are just crappy little bullshit jobs, and neither of them is eligible personally for welfare benefits. Those are for the single mommy. It's likely their mommy, with the numbers that we have now. But just look what happens between 18, and 24. Oh, my. Something begins to happen as these people go to university and then graduate university and enter into the real world. All of a sudden, a schism is created. And the women, well, they start to break off from the men whose earnings start to go way, 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 way up, which is in correlation with how much taxes they are paid. Or it's just the fact that women have so many more benefits than men because, generally speaking, they're making the same amount of money for doing the same job. And in 147 of America's 150 biggest cities, women actually make more money than men. And yet, look at that graph. Women start to pay a little bit in taxes. Goes up to around $3,500, $4,000. Goes up to around $6,000, and it kind of, sort of stays at around $6,000 a year. Woo! I love it. And, of course, it plummets again, 35 to 39. And it goes up a little more to around $7,000. And it pretty much peaks at $7,000 a year. Oh, my. Then we look at men. Between ages 19 and 24, their earnings, the amount of taxes they pay, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're earning more than the woman so much as they're paying more taxes. And his taxes just go up and up. Already, at the same age, the woman is paying around $4,500 in taxes per year. He's paying $8,500. So he's paying already almost double at the same age, around 24. Now you go up to age 25 to 29. By 29, he's paying double. It goes up again. And it goes down a little bit at the exact same time it does for women, from age 40 to 44. Right, it starts to drop off from 30 to 35, just like the woman, and reaching a low from 40 to 44. All right, and then it peaks again up to $16,000 a year, while she's paying less than $8,000 a year. And it just, all right, she's paying pretty much, by the time she hits 45, she's paying $7,700, and then it starts to drop and drop and drop until by age 50, 60, 59, 60, 59 or 60, she's paying what? It looks like about $5,000. Oh my God. Well, you're just looking at this graph. All right, I don't need to do it a point by point of the numbers. Look at the difference. It's astronomical. It's astronomical difference. The first thing that comes to mind is that half of women might be at home raising kids. However, the workforce participation rate between men and women doesn't seem to exceed 10% in either age group. So that's not why there's a difference. The second thing that may come to mind as a confounding factor is that women spend more for children in education and health. Nope. No support for that either. Men and women spend approximately the same amount in both education and health. So why are women paying so much less in taxes? Anyhow, in nearly all age groups, women receive more tax than they give. With the exception of the age group between 45 and 59, which is a 15-year span, women cost more to the state than the tax they provide. Now, if we look at that 15-year span, you see this line? So this graph here is different than the graph from earlier. The graph from earlier simply shows how much women pay in taxes on average compared to men, which was it was an astronomical difference, huge difference in between men and women, and how much men pay and how much women pay in overall tax. Well, this graph shows how much of the tax that women pay actually goes to the system once women have taken tax from the system in the form of welfare and health care services and everything else, every other little privileged thing that women get from the government, even though we supposedly live in a patriarchy and men are the privileged ones, not women. And then what you have left over is this graph. So, for a 15-year period, women pay a little. It means a little of their money goes to the system. And by the way, look at it. Look at that red line. That line is zero, meaning, and look at it for most of their lives. The line that's women, little red, that red line it is always under the zero mark, meaning women are a net drain on the system. They don't put anything out. All they do is take money out. They don't put anything in until age 45 to 59, where they put a little bit in. Very little. What is it, about 2,000, 5,000? I mean, what is it? Peaks at 5,000 from 50 to 54. It doesn't last very long. Oh, my God. So they put in very little compared to men who put in a crap load the entire time they live until they essentially retire. Oh, but we live in a patriarchy. Yeah, where men are the privileged ones, even though the women are getting all our money still. Yeah? Okay, all right. So women cost more to the state than the tax they provide. In contrast, men generally create more tax revenue than they cost between the ages of 23 to 65, a 43-year span. Oh, my. 43 years compared to 15 years. And he's putting in crap loads more money during that 43-year span than her little 15-year span. In the brief period in which women generate more as much tax money as they consume, men still outscore women overall in the amount of money they put into the system, in contrast to how much they take out, by 3 times. Let me say that again. Let me reiterate that. Compared to how much men put in to how much they take out, and how much women put in and take out, men pay more into the system by 300%. That's crazy. Now, I bet when we started this video, you were saying to yourself, well, I figure women are paying, a little less tax, or maybe, but I didn't know they were paying no taxes at all. I had heard that men pay 80% of the taxes. Oh no. No. Men pay 100% of the taxes, okay? You didn't realize that women actually pay 0 tax. Men pay all the taxes. But we're living in a patriarchy, right? Oh, gee, I would think if we were living in a patriarchy, we would have the women working for us. We wouldn't be working for them. It's interesting. And, of course, some people who can't do math might be tempted to say, oh, but, women do make less than men, the 77 cents on the dollar thing. And even if you were to give feminists their bullshit belief, validated as being true, that, women are paid less for, sexist reasons, and not because they just make different life choices and, work part-time more, flex time more, tend to choose jobs that, tend to fit more in with their natures, with the kind of things that women gravitate towards, even though women, they're only gravitating toward these jobs because they've been socially engineered to gravitate toward these kind of jobs, because don't you know, men and women are exactly the same. Even if you were to give feminists that, it still wouldn't change the fact that, hello, it's not a 300% difference in wages, it's a 23% difference. How the hell do you account for the other 200 and, 23% of that? I'm sorry. Their earnings gap is 23%, not 300%. Anyhow, moving on. By the end of her life, the average woman will have a negative fiscal impact of $150,000. That's $150,000 American. Oh, my God. You all thought women were expensive, but you didn't realize just how expensive they are for society, did you? By and large, the cumulative tax money given to women far outweighs the tax money generated by women. They're a net loss. They're a loss in every single way. The short period of positive impact that women have between 45 to 59 is countered by their 65 other years in which their allocated tax expenditure is more than what they supply the state. Basically, for 15 years of their life, they generate a very small, really tiny little bit of tax revenue. And then the rest of the time, they suck out of the system. And since they live longer than we do, they suck out even more by lieu of the fact that, they on average live 7 years longer than we do. Lovely! And to continue, we have the cumulative net fiscal impact per capita by gender and age group. So when you're talking about net fiscal impact per capita, men, they appear to have a positive cumulative net fiscal impact from approximately 40 until 80 years of age. For these particular taxes and public expenditures, the net fiscal incidence on men is approximately 0 when accumulated over all ages. Very interesting. Overall, the research suggests that male taxpayers are the only ones to ever have a positive contribution in taxes. I love it. Don't you just love it? There's something you know is always true. Common sense tells you. Logic and reason tell you. Reality itself tells you. But then people say, well, you don't have any proof of that. You can't prove that. That's just your opinion. Oh, me. No, well, now we have proof. And all it takes is looking at the actual numbers. Based on figure 17, which is above, the closest that the average woman will come to having a positive fiscal incidence is when she is at minus 50,000, around 55 years of age, while feminists are demonizing men for benefiting from all liberties and rights that they have constructed. They've oddly remained silent over the fact that anonymous male taxpayers are paying women just to exist. And they're just easy bake ovens, right? That's all I've said women ever are. They're just easy bake ovens that we pay to exist because they happen to essentially incubate the baby for 9 months. Other than that, they're useless. In fact, they're more than useless. They suck more out of the system than they actually contribute. The only reason we keep them around is because we need them to make babies. Yeah, it says read that sentence again. Okay, I'll do that. While feminists are demonizing men for benefiting from all the liberties and rights that they themselves have constructed, they've oddly remained silent over the fact that anonymous male taxpayers are paying women to exist. Well, of course, women never talk about the ways that they benefit, which are many. The article goes on to say, the fact that feminists want a stronger government is not a coincidence. While historically women had to choose a wealthy husband for resources, they can now stay single, be lesbians, or marry a poor man who used the sperm bank, and the state will still transfer male taxes to them. Right, where before you actually had to work to make a relationship work, where you actually had to put out some effort, where you couldn't be a lazy slob and just sit around all day and eat bonbons and watch Oprah all day and watch your favorite soaps while you played the role of a glorified nanny. Yeah, that's a real hard job. Now, you can't do that. You couldn't. Right, because in the past, a woman couldn't just sit on her ass and do nothing and expect her husband to tolerate that crap. Nowadays, well, I don't have to have a husband. I can have the government, and the government doesn't care if I get big, fat, and ugly. It doesn't care if I nag and complain and don't do my household tasks, don't do my job as a wife. It's not going to nag me for sex and complain that I cut my hair too short. And it's not going to complain that I'm too fat and I need to lose weight. I can eat all I want. I can do anything I want. And I don't have to put any work or effort into an actual relationship. I can just have a relationship with the government and it doesn't demand anything from me. In fact, it'll give me everything I want. And it'll encourage me to get fatter and uglier and not be with a man. Or if I do get with a man, it'll encourage me to break up with him. Oh, well, and now I'll get half his shit too. Wow, what a great deal. Yeah, good for you, bad for men, of course. Article goes on to say, interestingly, within 10 years of women's suffrage, the government doubled their tax revenue and expenditure in the USA. Very interesting. Isn't that interesting? The government has somehow become the new providing husband by taking money from anonymous men who have no say about where their money goes. Of course. While women are still strongly financially dependent on men, men are simply unable to use the money they make for their own interests. These findings show just how simplistic the notion of privilege is simplistic and wrong. Men are in no way privileged. Oh, it's only wrong in terms of men having privilege. Men don't have privilege. Women, though, women have a lot of privilege. While men make more on average, it allows women to have access to education, health care, and services. And, of course, they don't pay any taxes. Yes, the matriarchy, boy, that doesn't exist. But the patriarchy, that's very real. And isn't the patriarchy generous? Yeah, the patriarchy is generous. Although I thought that the meaning of the word patriarchy was that everything was run by men. It's funny how the men running things have set everything up to enfranchise women to the tune of us paying 300% more taxes, and they don't pay any taxes. Wow. Well, that's a good deal. I'd love to have that deal. You're out of luck. But we are going to complain that you make 23 cents more on the dollar than we do, even though we choose jobs that make less money. But we pay 1/3 the taxes you do. Oh, well, no, we don't pay any taxes, actually. We don't pay any taxes. In the end result, in the end scheme of things, look at the fucking chart. We pay zero. In fact, we take out $150,000 by the time we die. After all the money we supposedly put in, we've sucked out $150,000 from the system after you calculate in what we've paid, which is very little. Lovely deal. Oh, but they're oppressed, don't you know? Women are an oppressed class. Oh, my. Yeah, they're real oppressed. So let me know what you think of the tax gap in the comment section of this video. And please like and subscribe and donate to my Patreon if you would, because you know that YouTube will demonetize this video and they'll never monetize it, of course. And I need your support. I need your support because I'm a man and I pay my taxes, and I pay a lot of fucking taxes as compared to some cunt woman who pays zero in taxes. And then she dies and she's taking $150,000 of my money. Oh, but she's oppressed. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.